I absolutely forgot how much fun Phillip Rivers brought to the game of football. What a Monday night game. I'm going to do something right here, right now, that Jerry Jones almost did when talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Almost. He almost admitted he was wrong. He didn't quite. I'm going to tell you, I was right and wrong. What did I say about Phillip Rivers right here? I said we're going to get 3 good games because he may run. I mean, he's older and he hadn't practiced in a while. I think it's going to be fun. I don't think there's a lot of winning coming, but at least they're keeping butts in seats on a 4 or 5 game skid. Okay, that's where we're at. However, Phillip Rivers came in on both games. Both games, he's brought such an electricity, just energized the whole place. You can feel Phillip Rivers playing the game. It absolutely did my heart good to watch it. That was Christmas for me. Thank you, Phillip Rivers. And Phillip Rivers did not lose that game. The Colts defense did, and even the defense knows it. It's not like I'm unearthing nothing or I'm trying to do anything for clickbait. Bottom line, they sucked pond water while Phillip Rivers tried to cover for them. My favorite part of that game, my favorite part of watching that game was when Phillip had him in this hurry up. So he drops back, just kind of picture this. He drops back, they do a little play, they get up, and he's going to bring him right back to the line of scrimmage because he's got the defense off balance. Then he's going to go quick count, snap the ball, and they're close enough to the end zone that he can make that pass, and likely they could have had an easy score. And then one of his linemen stepped back early. So it was a false start. Phillip absolutely let the guy have it right there. That's what should be done. You don't see that in today anymore. Somebody does something stupid and the quarterback just goes right on. No, you're the leader of this. Call this man out. I loved it. It was so much. Obviously, the guy didn't mean to do it, but it was great to see the competitive nature. That's not Daniel Jones. Daniel's fun to watch. A lot of people are fun to watch, but they're not Phillip Rivers. I thoroughly enjoyed watching that. I hope you got a chance to watch it. If you didn't find it, it'll probably be on YouTube or archive, or they may run it again on the NFL Network. It's absolutely worth watching. Spoiler alert, the Colts are not going to win. But give you some facts from the game. 7 yards. That's what Phillip Rivers threw. He threw 2 touchdowns to Alec Pierce. I'm looking at a little bit of this data because my brain doesn't work like that. He had 1 interception, but that was not his fault. And I'm not one to say that they're not quarterback's fault. Phillip thought he was going the other way. They didn't have enough time working together. And I think Phillip threw what he thought was going to happen. I'm not sure Warren did exactly what he was supposed to. Either way, the miscommunication cost them the touchdown or the interception, which was sad. I hated to see that because Phillip was plagued with interceptions. His whole career was pretty interception heavy because he was a risk taker. I'm not even hating on that. That's that old Brett Favre mentality. You know what? We're going to throw it, and we're going to see what happens. That's why Green Bay, after all those great years with Favre, when you brought in Aaron Rodgers, he was sort of Brett Favre light. He kept the ball moving. He's still a good runner. He proved that the other day. But what he also did slowed down a little bit of that interception game. Brett will throw a football, and he could throw it hard, too, really hard. Listen to me now, hear me later. If I'm the Colts, there's no way in hell I would have brought Phillip Rivers back. Let me tell you why. He's got 10 kids. He's got a grandchild, too, plus a wife. Who knows? He might have more coming in. You can't afford, as a football team owner, to give up that kind of space if they do make the playoffs. Because playoffs, what happens in the playoffs? I learned this working around the Titans organization. When you go to the playoffs and you host a home playoff game, your profit as that NFL franchise, 0. Here's what's happening. The NFL's coming in. When it gets to playoff time, they take all the money. Everything that involves the stadium, the game, basically everything but parking and beer, the NFL's going to take every penny of. So when it comes to playoffs, there's a lot on the line, and the NFL gets really handsy about that. I learned that, again, when I was working around the Titans organization. So with that many kids, you start talking about getting to the playoffs. You ain't going to have space for them kids. No, you cannot hire this man. He's got too many children. In fact, we're going to have to put a rule on these kids coming out of college too, because now they're making $2 to $5 million. They'll start churning their own butter right there in the football field. They'll be having kids and everything then too, because they had the money for it. Got to be careful. I got like a 2-kid policy. That might be my max. If you got more than 2 kids, I cannot afford to give you your own suite. That costs money, bro. Not happening. 2-kid max is all I'm going to allow. 10 kids is a lot. But he made a lot of money. Did you see what he was making on these games? He's making, I think it was league minimum, like $72,000. And there's some other numbers in there, but it's roughly low 70s. And the big thing was he picked up 5 more years of insurance, which is huge because he's got 10 kids, a grandchild, and inevitably more are coming. In fact, if all of them just have one, he's got 20 Christmas presents to buy. The man might not have made enough. $200 million, that might not have been enough to cover Christmas 2029 or Christmas 2035. I don't know. I feel sorry for the man. I would be wanting to get a broadcast job or something. That high school coaching job cannot pay enough to cover all them kids and they're in the next set of grandkids and all the gifts you got to buy. It's going to have to be one of them cheap Santa deals where everybody draws one name and just buys something. Even with that kind of money, you can't afford to give all them kids toys. You will run yourself completely broke. Shoot. Indianapolis allowed 440 yards, a season high 6.7 yards per play, and never forced a punt. You're not helping Phillip Rivers if you're not going to show up on defense. Now, to be fair, DeForest Buckner said, we let him down. Okay, you did let him down. At least you admitted it. All right. But to be fair, they were on the sidelines probably as amused as I was and maybe lost the focus of the game. They were just having so much fun with Phillip Rivers around. I totally get that. I'm looking at some of the stuff from that game. It's the 5th straight loss for them, and they're on the brink of playoff elimination. They could still possibly make it, but it's a long shot, and a lot of things have got to happen. But also, Phillip Rivers hadn't played a game in forever, and he's back. So long shots can happen, especially where Phillip Rivers is concerned. So I'm hoping they get in. The other thing I think that may get overlooked from Monday night's game because of the joy, which I believe Brock Purdy went up and said it was an honor to play on the field with you, Phillip Rivers. That was cool. And to watch Brock Purdy, who's from right here, I believe Queen Creek, Arizona. I could be wrong, but it's somewhere around right where I live in that Phoenix, outside the metro area. He lit it up here for high school, then he went to college, and then he moved on to the pros. Mr. Irrelevant. It was fun watching him. He was dropping dimes last night. One time he threw it back across his body, halfway across the field, with 2 defenders covering his man. I swear the defenders on the Colts just looked at it and went, "Why is that football going by?" Well, I don't know, because they could have reached out and touched it, but they chose not to. It's like they were afraid of it. It's like it was kryptonite. I was worried about them. In fact, I'd ask maybe they need to take some time off, get them unscared of the football, maybe have them sleep around. Maybe there's 35 footballs in bed with them all the time. Whatever it takes to get them to be okay with touching a football, because they're scared of it. You should not be able to throw across your body and the field and score with 2 people standing in front. It defied logic. Seemed like everything he did for a while was just unbelievable. And then I thought about it, and I watched one of those commercials the other night. Apple does them on, and it's not an ad, hashtag not an ad, but they do the one where they're like, you can just ask Apple's girl, and I don't want to say it because as soon as I do, then it'll perk up, and I got like 10 of them around here. So it said, find out who the leading rusher is. So I wanted to test it. So I did. And I saw that Jonathan Taylor was the leading rusher at the time. So when I watched this game, I was really kind of hoping that could take some of the pressure off of Phillip and they could do some really good things. And then he just never got out of the gate. He had some good runs, some later in the game, but early on, they basically sold out to stop him. I think what happened there is because Phillip Rivers couldn't move, and they knew that's not the case with Daniel Jones. He'll take off on you. So now the linebacker's got to step back a little bit and got to, pay a little more attention. If Phillip Rivers takes off running, no one's worried. It'll be fine. By the time Phillip gets there, the game will be over anyway. So I think maybe that screwed Jonathan Taylor up and the offense. So the offensive scheme may have took a little bit of a beat down on that because you weren't getting much productivity out of that. I did see where they still have, I think it's a 2% chance, according to ESPN, for making the playoffs. And Phillips said, quote, he said, if you dreamed of playing in the NFL as a kid, you play no matter the record because that's the job. In other words, they're going to play, and they're going to play all the way out. So we get a chance to watch it, and that's pretty exciting. If you get a chance to watch any of these games with Phillip Rivers, it doesn't matter. They're probably going to lose. Not shocking. But getting a chance to see that kind of energy on the field again, I know we had his whole career, but that was fun. I forgot how much fun it was. Absolutely the best part of Christmas this year for me. Now, on another subject, where are we at? I don't want to talk football. This has been a long week of football because we're right around the playoffs. I got a ton of other things that I want to talk about, but right now we're gonna knock these things out, and I have another story coming. But the DK Metcalf situation. What is wrong with DK Metcalf? I don't know. DK Metcalf is Antonio Brown. I expect to hear from him in a couple of years after he's done playing with a lawyer and some serious trouble. This guy's troubled. Don't tell me and don't try to excuse it. Well, that guy said, I don't care what that guy said. That's the same thing DK Metcalf said. Well, he said, DK, you called security on this man at the stadium before to have him dealt with because he's still whining. Then this time, you let this moron create a situation whereby you decided to go swing at him? Is something wrong with you? Dude, how did you think that was going to end? You're not Lamar. Don't try it. That was a different situation. He physically touched him. That's another conversation we got to have because if somebody physically touches you, they should pay for that. He's lucky he didn't get worse. In DK's situation, dude, I've had this conversation right here on this podcast. Clearly, DK Metcalf doesn't watch. He needs to. What did I say on this podcast? I said on Bud Ford Not Scripted, dude, you football players better get thicker skin. The wonderful thing about you is most of you are oversized. You grew way too big. You ate too much. I don't know. You were blessed. That's wonderful. I love it. Now you're 6'2", 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. You're way overgrown. That's fine. It's cool. We all got to be different, right? There's short people, tall people, 31 flavors of ice cream for a reason. However, you scare people. Normal people, people that are 5'4", when they look at you, they don't make, you defy logic to them. Their head goes. They're just words. Sticks and stones, you ever heard of that? Come on, man. You got to be smarter than that. You're a rich man about to screw yourself out of a lot of money because he said something that made me mad. It hurt my feelings. You won the DNA lottery. You won the money lottery. You won the athletic lottery. Your body looks like some kind of chiseled machine because you worked like a crazy man to make it. You put the effort in, which caused you to win the money lottery. And now you're going to let some dude in the stands crying about something throw you off so you go out there and you want to manhandle him? Bro, you got to be smarter. I want you to do better than this. I'm going to be honest. I'm not sold on you to start with. I wasn't sold on you in Seattle. You drop more than you catch. I don't understand the beauty. I know everybody loves you because you have every muscle known to man that sticks out. Wonderful. You drop a lot. Let's not kid ourselves. You drop the ball a lot. This is the second or third. You've got multiple infractions, man. And here we are heading into the playoffs on a team that's got 4 wheels and one of their wheels on the bus is shaky at best. Bro, you need to be helping Aaron Rodgers, not doing this to the man. If I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, if I'm the NFL, we stop with DK Metcalf. It's over. Park him and teach the rest of them that you can't do this. Quit rewarding this kind of behavior. He crossed the line. He went over the line. He touched a fan. He's done. Get him off the field. Goodbye, DK Metcalf. Sorry, bro. That's the way it is. You went one toke over the line. You were gifted by God and you're blowing it. Wake up, man. He's a paying customer. You ask them to come to the show to pay the exorbitant salary you make, and you're what is wrong with you, man? Now, let me ask you this. Let's say that man comes over the wall and bounces off of the grass. You think he's suing DK Metcalf? Sure he is. You think he's part owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers next year? Sure he is. You think he owns a piece of the $20 or $30 billion in cash that the NFL's sitting on right now? Sure he does. All because of you, DK Metcalf, because you couldn't keep your hands off of the people that pay your salary. If this 2-game suspension, which means, by the way, they need to win as they head into the playoffs, bad time for you to get a two-game suspension and screw your team over. So, because some guy said something, it made me mad. Shh. Are you kidding me? I am not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Said it on this show many times. Dallas Cowboys fan from the 70s. Do you think there's anything more on this planet that disgusts me than the Pittsburgh Steelers? I have to hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have to hate the Eagles too. But you know who I'm pulling for this year? The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Why? Because the Pittsburgh Steelers took a chance, invested in Aaron Rodgers, and they're getting through this thing. Aaron Rodgers is not broke. We're seeing that. So it's so much fun to watch and see this come about. I love watching the Eagles, too. They're moving the football. Can you put more talent on one team? What a talented team. So it's fun to watch. If he serves this 2-game suspension for conduct detrimental to the league, it would avoid $45 million in future guaranteed money for the Pittsburgh Steelers receiver. Okay, now we're hitting him in the pocketbook. I say we shut off all funds. He's now no longer welcome at the Pittsburgh facility nor anywhere else in the NFL because he crossed the line. However, we're going to let him through this because we always let the talented ones through. So they say his 4-year, $132 million contract, reviewed by CBS Sports, notes that if he fails to practice or play with the club for any reason, which includes player suspension by the NFL or club due to conduct detrimental, his guarantees are null and void. Okay. Great. Let's shut the money off. Just stop. Shut it all down. That's not going to happen. Like I said earlier, the great thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers is their ownership. They make good decisions. Can't listen to me on this. They'll do the right thing. Whatever that is, it will work out. But I still say I'm right. At the end of all this, DK is a troubled person. I want him to get the help he needs. He should not be allowed back on an NFL football field. The NFL does not need that liability. And as a fan, I'm tired. I don't want to see it anymore. Go away. Cher is 79 years old. At this point, she can lip sync, moonwalk, or just stand there. And all we should say is, bravo. Thank you for the time, Cher. Cher. That didn't come out. We need to edit that. I said, thank you for the time, Cher. No one's ever said thank you for the time, Cher, unless they weren't paying the bill on it. All right. So when you look at what happened on Saturday Night Live, it was really cool to see Cher back. If you missed that, I'm not a Saturday Night Live fan either, but I went on YouTube and I pulled that up because Cher she's just one of those legends. I wanted to see how it went. Now, she performed 2 holiday songs on the show. She might have lip synced. And by might have lip synced, I mean it was awful. It made Milli Vanilli look like a school project. I mean, it was bad. Let me tell you something. It was awful. Awful lip syncing. A lot of viewers noticed it. Wasn't hard to notice. Saturday Night Live is against, they traditionally discourage full lip syncing, but backup vocals and tracks, they're not against you having all that recorded, whatever. That's not what happened, though. Bottom line is, for whatever reason, they lip synced. One viewer, was immediately, the internet lit up. She's not singing. She wasn't singing for most of it, but to her defense, one post said, who cares if she's lip syncing? She's Cher. Another person wrote, the only person that gets a pass for lip syncing is Cher on Saturday Night Live. Okay. All right. I don't know. I didn't hate on it at all. The lip syncing for the parades, though, that's normal. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, I can't even watch that. And some of the Sunday night football stuff we're doing, where we're recording on one end and we're hurriedly recording something and we're sending that audio back. I don't think that audio is getting back to the truck in time for us to get past the delay or whatever's happening, or the way the delay's working gets throwing it off. But the lips ain't nowhere near what they're saying, and it's not watchable at times. And Sunday Night Football is usually the biggest people attractor for all of football. You'll have 15, 20, 30 million people there on a good Sunday night, if you've got a good selection of teams. And because of flex scheduling, they usually do. So John Legend's been caught. Let's see. There's a lot of other people. Jewel. There's a lot of other people that have been caught lip syncing in these type of events. I don't know. Does it even matter? I mean, I got the record. I mean, we all have multiple sources: Spotify, radio, television. We have all kinds of ways, YouTube, to see and hear the music. You get an event like that, why wouldn't they lip sync? Plus, she's Cher. Do you not remember? Do you believe in life after love? Do you believe? I mean, what? Listen, that was a rough time in life, but it just so turned out that I had just moved from a country format to programming a pop format. This song comes out. I have never seen, there are a few songs in my career on the radio, and I worked radio when the phones rang, when people called. You called a radio station because we didn't have instant access to music back then. You didn't have an instant way like we do now. I mean, I can just go to Spotify and ask for it. I can ask Apple. My podcast is on Apple. My podcast is on Spotify too, if you check it out. But you can ask and just receive. We hit the future. But in the past, if you got, a song will get in your brain, one of those earworms, next thing you know, you can't get it out. You can't hear the song, and you're not going to buy the album because the album probably sucks. So you kind of dealt with it. Then you called the radio station, like, and I'd be like, hey, 103.5. And they'd be like, hey, can I hear, whatever? And I'd be like, sure, I get that on for you. And whether I did or not, I don't know. It depends on the song. It depends on everything. But with that, of all the songs that I've ever seen on the radio that were absolutely phone incredible, there's two that I can think of. One is Achy Breaky Heart. That might have been the most explosive song in the history of this country. It's got to be one of the top 10. Has to be. If you were on the other side of a radio station phone line, you would know what I mean. That song, we could not play it enough. Adults, 8 to 80, it didn't matter. Pick up the phone. Yeah, can you play that Achy Breaky Heart again? Okay, I'll get that on for you. Hi, can you play Achy Breaky Heart? Every voice you could think of wanted to hear Achy Breaky Heart. It was incredible to see. Even the pop stations were playing Achy Breaky Heart. I realize that's what the pop format is. CHR is all about finding the best songs, contemporary hits, putting them on, spinning them. Okay, I got it. However, this was a blatant country song. This was not one of those that even smelt right playing next to a pop record, but they were wearing it out. One morning, the morning guy in Charleston played Achy Breaky Heart all 4 hours of the morning. It wasn't enough. I was working at another radio station getting calls nonstop. Every station in town was being asked to play Achy Breaky Heart every 5 minutes. We were playing it twice an hour, and that wasn't enough. It's insane. Songs, to give you an idea, typically when you're in the country format, they will rotate somewhere around every 3 hours, 45 minutes, 4 hours, 15 minutes. If they're an established country station. If they're a newer country station, they might cut that down as low as 2 hours and 45 minutes. So it'll really depend on where they are in the market and how aggressive they're trying to be, how many songs they have in that current playlist. But in that heavy rotation, they'll have 7, maybe 8, maybe 10 if they're spinning them that fast. And they'll cook them, or they might only have 5 if they're cooking them that fast, but they'll have their select number and they'll turn them. Never do we turn them like that. I mean, you're talking about every 2 hours and 45 minutes. We were running the same song twice an hour. Another song was Cher, that Do You Believe thing with the voice alteration in the middle where they auto-tuned it. That was one of the coolest things I had ever heard. I'd never heard it before in my whole life, and I was running a pop station at the time doing the morning show. It never stopped. The phones rang nonstop. I called my friends at the country station. He'd be like, bro, they call me and ask me for it every 5 minutes too. I'm like, but it doesn't even sound hillbilly. Nope. That was a big song. Cher's been a part of a whole lot of things. I think she's in the middle of a really bad lawsuit with Sonny Bono's a widow, who's saying that there's a lot of money that wasn't handed to Sonny, not Sony. Maybe them too, I don't know. But Sonny Bono apparently didn't get his cut, so there's a little bit of an argument there. But when you're 79 years old and you're on Saturday Night Live, you know what's going to happen? You're probably going to lip sync. And for those of you who can't take it, maybe, I got an idea. Let's boycott Saturday Night Live because of lip syncing. No, it just doesn't matter. It's Cher. We got to get over some stuff. You got to let stuff slide. She's 79 years old. 79 years old. That's a lot. That's a lot of turn. That's a lot of candles. Talking about forest fire kind of stuff. No, y'all got to back it down and just let Cher be Cher, because we're not going to have her forever. We got to enjoy this treasure like Dolly. We run out of time on all of them. We're blessed to have them for the time we did, and we'll always have the recordings from the days they were here. Back off on Cher. At this point, it's not about lip syncing. It's about respecting a legend. Merry Christmas. Thanks for spending time with me today. You can catch the podcast. We're always on Spotify. We are on iHeartRadio, and we're on Amazon Podcast, and we're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and TikTok at Bud Ford Comedy.